This is Raw Authentic, where ambition meets authenticity. I'm your host, Tiana Reitnauer. And if you're a driven woman who refuses to settle for a life that looks good on the outside but doesn't feel good on the inside, you are in the right place. Here, we talk about the pivots, the breakdowns, the reinventions, and the courage it takes to walk away from what's comfortable, and the power of choosing yourself again and again. No filters, no fluff, just real conversations about what it means to live boldly, love deeply, and build a life on your own terms. If you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, let's dive in. What is up, Raw Authentic family? We are back for another week, back for another episode. I am so lit up with so much energy. You guys, I have all the freaking tea to share with you from conference. Oh my gosh. So I got back from conference on Sunday, and it was the first time that I had an opportunity to speak on stage. This is something that I've been manifesting. I literally put it on my vision board in 2018. I put a picture of a woman with a microphone looking out on stage, and I was like, I want to get on stage. I want to empower so many people and really just use my voice to share my story, because we all have a story. And I personally feel like when I have listened to people's stories and their struggles and what they've overcome and the adversity, then resilience that was built within them, that is what truly lit a fire under me to continue to keep going. And it really helped me in a lot of hard seasons of my life. And so I wanted to do that and make sure that I could bring that to people so that they could see, hey, it might look like everything is all put together on the outside, at least online, but my shit is not all put together. So also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can tell my face is very swollen. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you might hear me being congested. And I'm going to go into everything that is going on with me right now, and everything that happened leading up to conference and the speech, because you guys, it's like God is telling me, okay, well, I'm going to give you your breakthrough, but we need to go through some shit first to make sure that you can handle that level. And that when you're at that level, more stuff happens to you, you'll be able to sustain and hold that. So I know that the struggles and the challenges, they're always working out for me. It doesn't feel like that in the moment. And it used to be, honestly, I used to get really down on myself when things weren't going, how I wanted them to, or I was having a lot of struggles. And now I'm just like, you know what? I am really struggling right now. There is going to be the most massive breakthrough on the other end. So let's fucking go. Let's go. So, gonna back up a little bit, talk a little bit about conference and how that all went, and also everything that led up to that point, because it's super important. So, I shared back in 2018, I put on my vision board that I wanted to become a speaker. And I put a picture of a woman on there. I had a coaching business for 3 years, and I had this same podcast basically back then, that I ended up completely taking everything down. And I always had this desire to speak and to be on stage, but I felt like the way that I would articulate myself or I would tell stories, they weren't organized. And something I was really insecure about is just basically holding the attention of people and feeling like I was, I guess, communicating the message that I wanted to and having it land the way that I intended it to. So earlier this year, if you guys listened to one of my earlier podcasts, I went to San Diego and I went to a conference. And at that conference, I talked to a few people and I said, hey, I really want to get on stage and really share my story and have more opportunities to do that, because I just love it so much. And so many people told me to join Toastmasters. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And in conjunction of that, earlier this year in January, I was talking to one of my coaches who's also my best friend. And I said, I think I'm just going to go on YouTube and just put together 10 to 15-minute talks and just practice my public speaking. So that way, when the opportunity arises, I'll be ready. And I didn't end up doing that with the YouTube because I was like, I don't know where the frick to start. And so when I went to that conference and everyone was like, join Toastmasters, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I joined Toastmasters, I believe it was back in like end of March, beginning of April. And that's where I met my mentor, Asher, and he's the president of our Toastmasters club. And I've just basically been learning how to do speech writing, learning how to have good pauses, have a good arc and story and hook and all of the things with his help. And then also being able to give the speech a test run. So in my Toastmasters group, I was able to deliver the speech that I gave at conference, stay the course, but I did like four different iterations and versions of that speech until it became the final one that I gave in Atlanta. And if you guys stay tuned, I am going to post that speech. So you will get to hear the whole thing if you weren't at conference, or if you were at conference and it just hit and you needed to like hear it on repeat, I got you. So it really set me up for success, and really it just allowed me to get better at that skill. And I really encourage you, like if there's something that you want to get better at, like whether that's communication, whether that is a sport, a musical instrument, um, building a business, whatever it is, that you put yourself around people that are doing it at a high level, that you can really like grab their brain and learn from them. Because joining Toastmasters was one of the best things that I ever did. We have weekly meetings. It's such a inspiring and motivating community, and I just love it. So super grateful. Going into what led up to conference is kind of insane. So backing up, earlier this year, I went and visited my best friend in Costa Rica, and this was in like January. And when I was there, I stupidly was drinking tap water because I thought it was okay. She said it was okay. And I got a parasite. And so when I got home from Costa Rica, I got really, really, really sick. Like I was out for the count. And after I cleared the parasite, because I figured out that that's what was going on, my health just like started to decline rapidly. And I've had a lot of different like things going on with my health in the past. When I was living in Florida, and even before that, I've been in so many like moldy environments where I was working at a bar in Florida where there was black mold like 3 inches thick on the well, and you could see it. And like it was so caked in that like I couldn't even clean it. And the times that I did clean it, it just like spread and all the spores went everywhere and I got so sick. Um, I'm really, really sensitive to mold. And that is one of the reasons why I moved out of Florida, because the humidity really just like fucks with me. So I've had a lot of health issues over the years. That is just one of the things that was going on. So when I get back from Costa Rica, I walk into my house because I was gone for 2 weeks, and I'm like, it smells like fucking mold in here. Like, what is going on? And I kind of started to panic because not only did I have to leave a job in Florida because of black mold, I also had an apartment that I lived in Florida that had black mold, that I was really sick there and I couldn't break my lease. So I immediately went into like panic. I'm like, this is not good because I love where I live. It is in such an amazing area. It is half the cost of what I'm going to be paying if I lived in town. Like I cannot like move right now. And just to give you guys a little insight, the past 2 years, I've moved 5 times. I moved from Florida to Vegas with my ex fiance. Then we moved from Vegas to Steamboat. We lived in what we were ranch sitting. So we lived in one property for 3 months, another property for 4 months, and then we moved here. And I've been here just over a year. So yeah, I've moved a lot. And it's not against my nature to move, but I just feel like I'm at the point in my life where I really just want to plant roots and build something special and like just feel regulated in the sense that I'm not having to just pick up my entire life and move it again. But here we are, me moving again. So when I got back from Costa Rica and I was like, okay, there's mold, like I can smell it. I got this test done and it was like $500. And the test came back negative. And I'm like, that's so weird. I mean, thank God, because like I don't want to have to leave my house, but something's going on. So that was back in like March. Okay, fast forward, we're in August now. My health has been declining rapidly. Before I left for Europe, beginning of June, I got blood work done. And I went to Europe, lived my best life, came back, totally crashed, body broke down because I was doing so much nonstop activity and also eating all of the pasta and the gelato and all the things that my body that I don't typically eat on the day to day because my body is very sensitive to those things. And so I come back and I meet with my practitioner and he's like, "Oh yeah, you have like all sorts of shit going on. Like you've got no adrenal hormones producing, so your cortisol's through the roof. You've got parasite, bacteria, fungus. You have like essentially non-existent testosterone, um, and all this other stuff." And then he did a couple more labs to get me tested for some other things, and then those came back as like basically I have poor methylation, which I won't even get into the details of what that is. And I have mast cell activation. So if you guys know what that is, cool. You know the struggle or you know about it. If you don't, you can look it up. I won't go too deep into it. But basically, I was just chronically fatigued. My body hurt all the time, no matter how much I stretched or did yoga or worked out or took care of myself. And yeah, I just felt like I was constantly exhausted, but like anxious all the time. So this is something that I've been battling with for pretty much the better half of the whole year. So he puts me on this whole supplement protocol. I start to feel worse. And so I have a follow up call with him. He's like, okay, your liver's not detoxing. Let's get you off everything. I meet with a different practitioner who I've been working with her for about 3 years. We do some more tests, and she's like, babe, you have like so much mold in your body. And mind you, this is 2 days before conference, and my health is like rapidly declining. And I'm like, I just, I'm doing all the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing to make myself feel better, taking all the supplements, eating clean, you know, just not going to the gym, to weight train like I normally do and just taking it really easy because that's what my doctor said. Like, I need to just let my body heal. And I wasn't getting better. I'm like, this is so fucking defeating because I have all these dreams, all these goals, all these aspirations. The job that I work, it needs me at a high level and I need to be functioning at a high level. And I'm functioning on like 10%. And I just felt like yeah, just defeated. Like I felt defeated. So after she told me that, I was like, I fucking knew it. Like, I know there's mold in this house because the times that I have left for after Costa Rica, I left on a couple different trips. I felt fine. Then I come back and I feel sick. So I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. So I ordered another test, a different test, because she said the mold test that you had done it's known to like produce false negatives basically. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do this other test. Let's just fork out another $300, whatever. Like, got to do, we got to do. And then I was preparing for my speech and I go to Atlanta. While I'm in Atlanta, the first day was like my body was still trying to kind of like adjust and like kind of being out of the environment that I'm in my home. Um, I was just kind of trying to purge all that. And then the second day, I felt fine. I felt fucking great. Like every day I was in Atlanta, I felt better. So I knew that I needed to get out of this house. And I had been like tossing around different ideas of places that I would want to go. What I do love about my place is it is very peaceful. However, this is like a small town, 13,000 people where I live, and it's old money. Like the people here are like retired, married with kids. And there's not like a lot of people around my age, young professionals type thing. Like it's very small. So there's not like a lot of opportunity for that sort of thing. So when it comes to like me putting myself back out there for dating, it's like non-existent here. And then as far as like professional opportunities and networking, there really just like isn't a whole lot here. So, as much as I love it and as much as it's beautiful and as much as it's been like a great season, I just intuitively just felt like, okay, maybe this is the time and this is a sign for me to like go to the next thing because I came to this town with my ex-fiance and we moved into the house that I'm in now together. And the house that we lived in together, the cabin that I'm in, was rented to us by a family friend of his. So I feel like this is just like a new era, like a sign that like, okay, this chapter is closing. It's time for a new chapter. So all of that was coming to the forefront as I was going to conference. And I'm like, okay, now I have to figure out as I'm starting to recruit and build a team and really just build this empire that I'm envisioning. And now I have to once again pick up my life and just move it to a completely different place. So it has been overwhelming, but honestly, I'm really, really excited because not only am I excited to feel better physically, but I'm just excited to be in a space that is mine, that I can make it mine, that I can inspire me, that I can do more content, share more stories, like build that empire that I'm envisioning and just be in a space that really like supports that growth in a town or a smaller city where I have access to more opportunities. So I put in my notice yesterday with my landlord. I am moving on 9/11 or around there, and I'm going to be moving to Boise. So that's really exciting. I have some other people that I know that live there, and I have an idea of like what little area I want to look at. I already have a trip planned. My parents are going to basically drive up from Vegas, meet me there because it's only a 7 hour drive. I'm going to fly. I'm going to Kansas City next weekend to visit a girlfriend, and then I'm going to fly basically from Kansas City to Boise. And I already have like a list of places that I'm wanting to look at. And basically, between now and then, it's just like get rid of all my stuff and pack and demold and basically start this adventure of a new chapter. So that's kind of the update. Um, but going back to conference, it was, oh my gosh, guys, it was literally everything that I could have dreamt of and even more. Like how receptive people were of the speech and how much it resonated, and the amount of people that came up to me afterwards just telling me, like, wow, that was like the best speech I heard all weekend, or that really resonated with me. That felt like a page that was taken out of my book. And just that was my hopes in writing this speech with Asher was just really having it land for people with like the masses because we all go through shit, right? We all have times where we're going through relationship struggles or health struggles or family health struggles or whatever it is, like adversity in what we're working towards and our goals and challenges. And my inspiration for creating it was just to let people know that, like, hey, we all go through that. And like, again, it might look like on the outside, I have it all together, but I don't. And I'm still figuring it out. But the most important thing is to not give up and just to keep going because, again, with the struggles that you're going through, you are so much closer to a breakthrough on the other side. And a lot of people give up when they're in the middle, when they are right before that breakthrough happens. And speaking of that, really funny. So I was super nervous. I had the amount of people that are like, "Were you even nervous?" I'm like, "Dude, I was literally shitting myself." I was like, "I am afraid that I'm going to get up there and completely blank and like forget what I'm saying," because I was practicing it over and over and over and for months leading up to it. But then when I would go to like practice it with my mom on FaceTime, I would completely blank on the first like two or three sentences. And I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? Like, what? I don't even know. But I've been like rehearsing it for so long. It's like, it's just nerves, right? Like, it's not that I didn't know it. It was the nerves. So thankfully, when I was backstage, and it was so nice, like a couple people backstage were really helping me with like getting me warm water and like fanning me because I was profusely sweating. I was like so hot. Um, and just making sure that I was like good. I was just basically rehearsing the first opening over and over because I knew once I got into it, like I would be good. And so funny when I listened to the speech back, like the very end of it, there was a really impactful piece that I completely blanked and left out. And looking back, like it doesn't matter because the message was still there and it still resonated. But I was like, damn, like that was such a pivotal like line that like hit. And I totally blanked on it. So it is what it is, like it's a learning process. I'm super proud at the final speech and how it did end up, especially not only the health stuff leading up to it, but I had like some wardrobe malfunctions as well leading up to it. So I had this I had this vision of what I wanted to be wearing on stage. And I had this like bright blue jumpsuit, like super like sexy, but like classy and like bright. And I was like, I envisioned myself in wearing this. And then I was like, okay, but I don't want to wear heels because I don't want to like walk on stage and feel like I'm gonna like trip or feel uncomfortable. Like I wanted to be comfortable and not like focused on that. Um, and so as I go to get my outfit ready, I realize I put it on. And mind you, I have washed this thing, like it's clean. And I fucking put it on. And there's like the most massive sweat stains on both ends. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Like, I'm going to be on stage with like a Megatron whatever it's called, like screen, and I have fucking sweat marks. Like, no, not doing that. But I had no other, like, I only had enough outfits for like every day I was there. So I ended up wearing that still like the first day of the conference. And you couldn't tell, like, I could tell, but I'm pretty sure no one else noticed. I even asked a couple of the girls, I'm like, can you like tell that I like didn't shower or something? Like, what's going on? And they're like, no, you can't tell. But I didn't want to risk that being projected on a large screen that like, okay, this girl is sweating. And then also like as much as I was sweating in the outfit that I actually wore, I'm so glad that I ended up like changing outfits because that would have been a whole fucking disaster. And then on top of that, I never tried this jumpsuit on that I was envisioning wearing with flats. I've only wore it with heels. And when I put flats on, the legs, the pant legs were so long they were dragging on the ground. I was like, oh my God. Okay, well, I guess this isn't happening. So had a little bit of like, what am I doing there? Like, what do I want to wear? Because, it's a big moment and I wanted to be proud of, the whole thing, like how I looked on stage, how I presented myself, all of that. So that was kind of funny. But anywho, yeah, that was basically the story. It went super well. Super grateful to have the opportunity to do that. I know that that is just the first of many to come. And I thought it would be really cool to share with you also the phone call that I had with my co founder, actually asking for the opportunity to speak and give you guys a little snippet of what that conversation was, and then give you guys the full speech. So without further ado, here she is. So I wanted to talk to you, speaking of conference. I have a desire to speak and empower people. Someone who produces 30, 40,000 in a month has also walked that same path that they're struggling with. I feel that with my journey, I can add a lot of value. And I wanted to ask you for an opportunity to speak at this year's national conference to really share that story and empower the next top producer.
It's so funny you mentioned that. We were going to actually ask you to speak.
No way.
Because we're still putting together all the speakers of who we want on there. But you were one of the ones that I wanted up there because I was talking, because we all kind of brainstorm what message we're trying to convey and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get people that didn't just hit numbers, but hit numbers and had struggle. And you were one of the main ones I thought of for that because how transparent you were whenever you and I were on the phone, where you didn't sugarcoat it with me. And so, that totally fits the culture. And I think that's what people need. So yeah, hell yeah. We would love for you to speak.
For one of our top female producers, Tiana Whitehouse.
Hello, everybody. Anybody like dubstep? Yeah! All right. 6 weeks ago, I was on a boat, cruising the coast of Italy. I spent 3 weeks in Europe, paid for in cash. What you wouldn't know is that 2 years ago, I was standing behind a bar in St. Petersburg, Florida, living off of credit cards, zero plan, no idea what came next. I almost didn't make it here today. There's 3 moments that almost took me out. 3 times where I could have walked away and it would have made complete sense too. I want to walk you guys through these 3 moments because if there's something that I want you to hear over the next couple of minutes, it's this. The hardest season of your life does not mean that you chose wrong. It means something is being built within you that comfort could not build. Let me take you guys back. It was June 1st, 2024, and I sent my resignation email. I was bartending for 2 years at 3 different bars, and I stood behind that bar like a dam standing in a river. From the outside looking in, a dam is calm, steady, solid. But what you can't see is what a dam is holding back. Everything that I was capable of, pressing forward, looking for the crack, the moment that the wall gives. Because a dam is meant to hold until it's time to let go. I laid on my couch that morning with my eyes closed, and I heard a voice as clear as day. God said, "Quit your job." I said, "Quit my job? When?" He said, "Today." I stepped out on faith, and faith showed up. Later that week, I was invited out on a different boat, and I was offered an opportunity in life insurance. Those first 90 days were fucking brutal, yo. I called my mom crying 2 or 3 times a week. I put my lead costs on a credit card and hoped I had enough left over to cover the electric bill. I wanted to quit every single day. But I didn't. That's the first moment. The second one came a year later and had nothing to do with business. We sat with the pastor, afternoon light shining on the roll behind him. We looked at the calendar and picked a date. And for a moment, the future felt solid enough to build a home on. Imagine you spent your life with someone for years. You built your life around them. You had so many conversations about the future, it stopped feeling like a conversation and started feeling like a plan. And then halfway through the meeting, his energy shifts, the questions stop, the answers get shorter. And you drive home in a car that goes quiet in a way that feels all too familiar. That was me. And the next day, on October 31st, 2025, I ended my engagement. If I'm being honest, I had doubts for a while. The sentence kept creeping in. My dad, something he said to me at dinner with tears in his eyes, and he says, "He doesn't deserve you, babe." By Monday morning, my face was swollen from 3 days of crying. My alarm still went off at 4:30 a.m., same as Travis Blackburn. I looked at my phone before my body could move. My mom flew in that week, and I sat down at my desk to dial leads, picked up the phone, tried to sound like somebody that had it together. But an hour in, my phone still in my hand, I walked into the kitchen and collapsed in my mom's arms. She held me without trying to fix it. She stayed. I wanted to quit so many times that week. But this season didn't make me strong for months. It needed me to be strong for the next hour. So I stopped asking myself how I had survived the season and started asking myself how I could survive the next hour. At the end of the month, I looked at my numbers, $42,000 in production. The biggest month I had in insurance, landing in the middle of the hardest seasons I'd ever lived through. You rarely see what you build in the middle. You see it when you look back. That was the second moment. I thought the worst was behind me. I was steady. I stopped crying every day, so that was a win. 5 months goes by. Steady turns out isn't a place, it's a pause. You guys ever think about or imagine a phone call, but you're not really looking forward to it? The one where when the phone rings, you already know before a word is said. That was me, March 23rd, 2026. I was taking a bath after a long day. My anxiety wouldn't settle. And when my phone rang, I could tell by my mom's voice. She said, "It's not good, babe." Stage 4. My grandma. It spread to her liver, her bones. I sunk down in the tub. My mom tried to hold it together for both of us and I lost it. I curled up in a ball, my phone on the edge of the tub on speakers where you could hear my cries echoing in the bathroom. But my mom never matched my panic, she anchored it. When the conversation ended, everything outside of me looked the same, but something in me had shifted. I stepped back from work, flew home to be with family, and my first week back, I checked the numbers. 10,000 in production in 4 days. And I looked at it just confused and shocked because all I could focus on was my mom holding steady on the other line while I couldn't. In all these 3 seasons, my mom taught me one thing: how to stay the course. And that growing belief is what got me on that plane and brings me back to where we started. Back on that boat in Italy, my phone lit up, a deposit. Money I hadn't worked for landed anyway. And then the question crept in, is this a fluke? Because from January to March, I had $18,000 in chargebacks. That kind of stretch makes you convinced if you walk away, everything falls apart. I almost didn't get on that plane, but I did. And the deposits kept hitting and the business still held. If you've been in this business long enough, you've been punched in the mouth more times than you can count. The person next to you is wanting to walk away, and so have you. Sometimes you just need to think about, how do I get through the next 60 minutes? And then you'll figure out what to do with the next hour after that. And the best thing, everything got easier the moment I stopped trying to carry it myself. So I want you to hear this again. The hardest season of your life does not mean that you chose wrong. It means something is being built within you that comfort cannot build. The heartbreak, the diagnosis, the number I dreaded every time I looked at it, none of it stopped me from showing up and creating the life that I wanted. So I want to ask you this. What is this season trying to teach you? Because you don't get to choose whether life shakes you. You get to choose who you become while it does. Stay the course.
If any of this resonates with you, if the speech resonates with you, please share this episode. Please share it with a friend, review. That's how I get it into more people's ears. And I will continue to keep you guys updated as this next chapter continues on to Boise.